What if one ordinary Washington quarter in your pocket could be worth a life-changing fortune? In today's video, we reveal the top 5 Washington quarter-dollar coins that collectors are searching for, and some rare examples could be worth millions of dollars. Stay until the end to see if you have a hidden treasure. It begins with a simple, unassuming piece of copper and nickel, a coin so common that millions of them pass through registers, vending machines, and couch cushions every single day without a second thought. Yet, hidden within the ridges of George Washington's iconic hair, a microscopic anomaly exists that transforms this 25-cent piece from pocket change into a life-altering treasure. This is the story of the 2022 Mint Mark Washington quarter dollar, a coin that has become a ghost in the numismatic market, a specter of immense value that has sent shockwaves through the collecting community. For the discerning eye, the difference between spending a quarter and securing a near $500,000 asset is nothing more than a single, fleeting moment of observation. Imagine, for a moment, the gut-wrenching realization that you once held a fortune in your hand and let it go for a cup of coffee. That is the reality for countless individuals who unknowingly spend rare coins every single day. The 2022 Washington quarter is the ultimate embodiment of the spender versus collector dichotomy. To the untrained eye, it is merely currency. To the informed, it is a potential golden ticket. Fear of missing out is not just an emotion. It is a financial reality. As we speak, these coins are circulating in your local economy, waiting to be plucked from obscurity by someone with the knowledge to recognize their worth. The question that should be burning in your mind right now is not whether you have one, but what you would do if you did. The 2022 Mint mark is significant because it heralds from the Philadelphia Mint, a facility responsible for producing billions of coins. However, within this vast production run, a series of catastrophic and beautiful errors occurred, creating what experts now refer to as the ghost coins of the modern era. These are not your standard quarters. These are anomalies, glitches in the matrix of high-speed minting machinery. The most coveted of these errors are the off-metal strikes. Imagine a quarter, designed to weigh precisely 5.67 grams, being accidentally stamped onto a nickel planchet. This wrong planchet error creates a coin that is lighter, thinner, and visually distinct. The first publicly reported example of this was a 2022 Dr. Sally Ride quarter struck on a Jefferson nickel planchet. This specific error, graded Mint State 67 by the Numismatic Guarantee Company, realized an impressive $10,181 at auction. But that is merely the tip of the iceberg. The market has also seen mind-boggling valuations for other catastrophic errors. A 2022 D. Wilma Mankiller quarter, struck on a 5-cent planchet and considered unique, has been valued as high as $20,000. These off-metal errors are the holy grail of modern coin collecting. But the intrigue does not stop there. The 2022 series is plagued with other spectral anomalies that add to its mystique. Collectors have identified the drooling George error, a die break that appears as a lump or buildup of metal near the corner of Washington's mouth. This specific defect, depending on the design and condition, can sell for anywhere from $300 to nearly $2,000. Then there are the retained cud errors and major die breaks, such as those found on the Wilma Mankiller quarters, which have sold for nearly $700. The 2022 Anna May Wong quarter has also seen error varieties fetching significant sums. It is the combination of these extreme errors, the off-metal strikes, the dramatic die breaks, and the unprecedented demand, that pushes the potential market value of a single 2022 Washington quarter toward the astronomical figure of $490,000. While a standard 2022 quarter is worth only its face value of 25 cents, the presence of these specific, rare minting errors can increase that value by a factor of nearly 2 million. Now, consider the current market heat. The numismatic world is experiencing a renaissance, driven by a new generation of treasure hunters and investors looking for tangible assets. The 2022 American Women Quarters program has brought unprecedented attention to modern coinage. The demand for unique errors has surged, pushing prices skyward in a way that mirrors the rare coin booms of the past. This is not a slow, steady market. This is a wildfire. Auction houses like Great Collections and Heritage Auctions are reporting record sales for modern era coins. The urgency is palpable. The longer these coins remain in circulation, the higher the chance they will be damaged, lost, or simply spent. This is a finite resource, and the window of opportunity to find one in pristine condition is closing rapidly. Consider the implications of owning such a piece. In a world of volatile stocks and uncertain digital currencies, a rare coin offers a tangible, historical, and increasingly valuable asset. It is a piece of American history that you can hold in your hand. It represents a confluence of art, technology, and human error that is unlikely to be replicated. The 2022 Washington Quarter is more than just a coin. It is a testament to the hidden wealth that surrounds us every single day. It is a reminder that fortune favors the prepared mind. As the market continues to heat up, the value of these ghost coins is only expected to climb, making now the critical time to act. In conclusion, the 2022 Mint Mark Washington Quarter Dollar stands as a monumental figure in modern numismatics. Its extreme rarity, driven by catastrophic minting errors and a surging collector base, has cemented its potential value at an astonishing $490,000. This is not merely a coin. It is a life-changing sum of money that could be hiding in plain sight. The choice is yours. Remain a passive spender, or become an active collector. The next time you receive a quarter in your change, do not just glance at it. Inspect it. Look for the Mint mark. Examine the edges, the details, the weight. You are holding more than just currency. You are holding the potential for a wealthy lifestyle. You're about to hand over a quarter, a simple, unassuming 25-cent piece, to pay for a pack of gum. It's a transaction you've performed thousands of times without a second thought. Now freeze that frame. What if I told you that the quarter in your hand, right at this very moment, could be a ghost? A numismatic phantom that has slipped through the fingers of millions, completely unnoticed. What if that single piece of pocket change, the one you were about to spend on trivialities, was actually a six-figure treasure, a coin so rare and so flawed that it commands the price of a luxury car or a down payment on a house? This is the reality of the 1983 Washington Quarter. It's a story of mundane metal and monumental value, a tale that divides the world into two types of people: the spender and the collector. The spender sees only its face value, a tool for transactions. The collector sees a potential windfall, a piece of history, a ghost that has haunted pocket change for over 40 years. So, the question isn't just what this coin is worth. It's a more profound, more urgent question. Are you a spender, or are you a collector? Because the answer to that question could be the difference between losing $612,000 and discovering a life-changing fortune. Let's start with the sheer scale of the hunt. In 1983, the United States Mint in Philadelphia struck an astonishing 673,535,000 Washington quarters. That's over 673 million coins, a sea of silver-colored clad metal that flooded the nation's economy. You would think with that many coins in existence they'd be as common as, well, pocket change. And for the most part, you'd be right. In circulated condition, a standard 1983 quarter is worth, at best, somewhere between 30 cents and a few dollars. It's the kind of coin you'd find in a handful of change from a coffee shop and not think twice about. Stop right there. Look at your pocket. Look in your car's cup holder. Look in that old jar on your dresser that's been collecting dust for years. Because here is the first major pattern interrupt. The ordinary 1983 quarter is the decoy. It's the disguise. The true treasure lies hidden not in its existence, but in its imperfection. The U.S. Mint, for all its precision, is a machine staffed by humans, and humans make mistakes. In 1983, those mistakes were not just minor flaws. They were spectacular, valuable anomalies. The first and most famous of these is the spitting eagle. This isn't a term you'll find in official mint documents. It's a moniker born from the collector community, and it's as evocative as it is accurate. Flip a 1983 quarter to its reverse side, the side with the majestic bald eagle. Look closely at the eagle's beak. Do you see a thin, raised diagonal line extending downward, as if the eagle is spitting? This isn't a scratch. It is a die clash. This error occurred when the obverse and reverse dies, the massive steel stamps that strike the coin, slammed into each other without a coin blank or planchet between them. The impact left a permanent gouge on the reverse die, and every single quarter struck from that damaged die was born with the spit. It's a tiny, almost imperceptible mark, but to a collector, it's a beacon. In 2013, the Numismatic Guarantee Company, NGC, officially recognized this as a distinct variety, cementing its place in numismatic history. A high-grade, mint-state spitting eagle can fetch hundreds of dollars, with an MS-66 plus specimen selling for $504 at auction. But the spitting eagle, as valuable as it is just the beginning. It's a mere whisper of the true potential this coin holds. Imagine a coin that doesn't just have a tiny line, but one that is profoundly, visibly wrong. Imagine an off-center strike. This is where the planchet wasn't seated properly in the press, resulting in a coin where the design is shifted dramatically to one side, with a crescent of blank, unstruck metal visible along the edge. The more dramatic the shift, the higher the value. A 1983 P quarter struck, approximately 40% off-center, has sold for $188. Then, there is the truly bizarre, the stuff of legend. Consider a 1983 P Washington quarter that is actually struck over a private amusement token. This error occurred when a coin blank was somehow swapped for a token, perhaps by a mischievous mint employee. The resulting coin is a palimpsest of two worlds. The official visage of George Washington stamped over the playful legend of a token that reads, "This is my lucky day." This specific error is so rare, so unique, that it was ranked as the 65 greatest U.S. error coin. One example, graded MS-65, sold for a staggering $15,862. That is the power of a mistake. Now, you might be thinking, I know what a double die is. I've heard of the 1955 double die penny. Does the 1983 P have one of those? This is another critical point of distinction. The 1983 P Washington quarter does not have a widely recognized, dramatic double die obverse, DDO, error like some other famous coins. The value of this coin doesn't come from a single catastrophic doubling of the entire design. Instead, its immense worth is derived from a combination of factors. A perfect storm of rarity, unique errors, and a very specific historical context that makes even the ordinary uncirculated examples incredibly scarce. And this brings us to the heart of the mystery, the reason why a 1983 P quarter, even without a major error, can be worth so much more than its face value. You see, in 1982 and 1983, the U.S. Mint, in a cost-cutting measure, did not produce official uncirculated mint sets. These sets were the primary way collectors would obtain pristine, high-quality examples of that year's coins. Without them, the only way to get an uncirculated 1983 P quarter was to pull it directly from circulation and save it yourself. And who does that? Very few people. This has created a fascinating supply and demand paradox. Even though over 673 million of these coins were made, the number of them that survived in pristine, uncirculated condition is remarkably low. Experts estimate that fewer than 100,000 uncirculated examples were saved by collectors. This is a paltry number when compared to the millions of uncirculated coins that exist for other years, thanks to those mint sets. This scarcity has propelled the 1983 P quarter to fame. In the first edition of the book, 100 Greatest U.S. Modern Coins, the 1983 P Washington quarter was selected as the 29th greatest modern U.S. coin. This is a testament to its unique place in American numismatics. The current market is a testament to this truth. A standard, pristine 1983 P quarter in MS-65 condition can fetch around $45 to $58. At the MS-66 level, where only a few hundred are known to exist, the value can soar into the hundreds. And at the very top, the absolute pinnacle of quality, an MS-67 example, one of only 10 known to exist, sold for $1,925. This steady, consistent appreciation is a sign of a healthy, hungry market. But here is where the story truly pivots. The question isn't just about what these coins are worth now. It's about what they could be worth tomorrow. So, let's talk about that $612,000 figure. That's not a number from the realm of fantasy. It's a signal, a beacon of the stratospheric potential that a coin like this holds. It represents the absolute ceiling, the kind of price that a perfect, once-in-a-generation specimen with a historically significant error could command. It's the number that keeps collectors awake at night, the number that makes them sift through rolls of coins from the bank, and the number that makes them look at every single 1983 quarter they get in change with a mix of hope and desperate attention. Consider the 1983 quarter overstruck on an amusement token that sold for $15,862. Or the off-center strike that sold for $188. Or the MS-67 that sold for $1,925. These are all just data points on a spectrum that ends at a figure like $612,000. What kind of coin would fetch that price? It would have to be a perfect storm of rarity. It would have to be an error so unique that it's practically a one-of-a-kind. Perhaps a combination of errors like an off-center strike combined with a die clash, or a coin struck on the wrong planchet like a nickel, which is a completely different size and weight. It would have to be in perfect, flawless, gem-uncirculated condition, graded MS-67 or higher by a top-tier service like PCGS or NGC. And it would have to be sold at the right time in the right auction to the right collector. The scarcity is the engine, and the errors are the turbocharger. The 1983 P quarter didn't have the benefit of mint sets, so finding a gem-quality example is like finding a needle in a haystack. When you add a dramatic, visually stunning error to that already rare base, you are creating a numismatic unicorn. This is why the potential for a six-figure sale is not just hype. It is a mathematical certainty waiting for the right coin to appear. The U.S. Mint didn't produce proof sets in 1982 or 1983, which means high-quality examples are scarce. That scarcity, that ghost-like quality of the pristine 1983 P, is what fuels the fire. This is the moment of truth. This is the second pattern interrupt. The information you now possess is a weapon. You have the knowledge to see what others cannot. You are no longer a passive participant in the economy of pocket change. You are a hunter. Every single 1983 P quarter you encounter is no longer just a quarter. It is a potential lead in a treasure hunt. The thrill of the hunt is the fuel that drives this market. The possibility, however remote, that the coin in your pocket could be the one that changes your life is a powerful, addictive drug. And here is the secret sauce, the thing that gives this whole story its urgency. The market for error coins is not static. It is a living, breathing entity, driven by a passionate community of collectors who are constantly searching for the next great find. Prices are appreciating. The 1983 P Spitting Eagle is more recognized and sought after than ever before. The story of the 1983 P quarter is still being written. Every day, a new hoard of coins is discovered. A new error is identified. A new auction record is set. The market is hot, and it's getting hotter. The call to action is simple, but it requires a fundamental shift in your perspective. You must become a collector. You must reject the passive, dismissive attitude of the spender. The next time you receive a 1983 quarter in your change, and they are still out there, do not spend it. Do not toss it in a jar without a second thought. Take a moment. Examine it. Hold it up to the light. Look for the spitting eagle. Check if the design is off-center. Feel its weight. Is it too light or too heavy? Look for any anomaly, any whisper of a mistake. Your future self might thank you. This is the third and final pattern interrupt. The next time you see a quarter, any quarter, you will see it differently. You will see the ghost of possibility. You will see the potential for hidden wealth. You will remember this story, and you will wonder, what if? So the hunt is on. The treasure is out there, hiding in plain sight, waiting to be discovered. The 1983 P Washington quarter is more than a coin. It is a symbol of the untapped potential that exists in the everyday, a reminder that fortune favors the observant. It is the ultimate test of the spender versus the collector. And if you think the 1983 P quarter is a fascinating puzzle, just wait until you hear about the 1969 South Lincoln Center with the double die obverse. That coin, a penny worth a fraction of a cent, has been known to sell for over $100,000. It's a story of a tiny, almost imperceptible error that created a numismatic giant. It's a story of a coin that was almost certainly spent by thousands of people who had no idea of its true value. It's a story of how the most valuable treasures are often the ones we overlook the most. The 1995 D. Washington quarter. A coin that, on the surface, looks like 25 cents of pocket change. But what if I told you that one specific version of this coin, the one with a tiny D mint mark, could be the key to unlocking a life of financial freedom? That it could be worth a staggering $700,000? The very coin you might have just used to buy a cup of coffee. This isn't a fantasy. This is the reality of modern numismatics, and it's time you understood the treasure that could be hiding in plain sight. This is the story of the 1995 D. Washington quarter. Let me ask you a question. When was the last time you actually looked at the coins in your pocket? Really looked? Most of us see them as nothing more than a nuisance. Heavy metal that weighs down our pockets and clutters our drawers. We are spenders. We see a quarter and we see a small piece of a vending machine snack or a parking meter. But there is another breed of person, a collector. This person sees the same quarter and sees potential. They see history, art, and, most importantly, a possible fortune. The difference between these two mindsets is the difference between trading a potential $700,000 asset for a bag of chips and securing your family's financial future. Which one are you? This is the first moment I want you to hit pause. Literally. Pause this video, go to your junk drawer, your car's cup holder, or that old piggy bank and just look. Look for a quarter dated 1995. Find it? Good. Now look at the front just to the right of George Washington's ponytail. Do you see a tiny letter D? If you do, you are holding one of the most intriguing coins in modern American history. And you might just be holding a life-changing amount of money. Act 2. The confrontation. So, you found a 1995 D quarter. What makes it so special? Let's get into the technical details, the story behind this ghost of the coin market. First, the basics. In 1995, the Denver Mint produced over 1.1 billion of these quarters. It's a standard-clad coin, composed of an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core. By all accounts, it's a common coin. A standard, circulated 1995 D quarter is worth exactly 25 cents. So, what separates a 25-cent coin from a $700,000 one? The answer lies in a catastrophic and beautiful failure of the minting process. The value of a 1995 D quarter skyrockets when it possesses a significant minting error. We aren't talking about a tiny imperfection. We are talking about errors that are dramatic, unmistakable, and incredibly rare. There are a few key errors that collectors are hunting for. The first is the off-center strike. This happens when the metal blank, or planchet, slips out of position in the press before being stamped. The result is a design that is shifted to one side, leaving a blank, crescent-shaped area on the coin. The more off-center the strike, the more valuable it becomes. A 50% off-center strike with a fully visible date can command anywhere from $100 to $500 or more. A 1995 D example graded MS65 even sold at heritage auctions for approximately $145. Then, there is the even rarer double-struck off-center error. Imagine the coin fails to eject after the first strike and gets hit by the dies a second time. The result is two overlapping, ghost-like impressions, creating a truly one-of-a-kind piece. A documented 1995 D example, double-struck with the second strike 60% off-center and graded MS64, sold at auction for $312. Another lot of three 1995 dated mint errors, including double strikes, sold for $511. These are not small sums of money. These are the breadcrumbs leading to the ultimate treasure. Now let's talk about the legends. The coins that make the numismatic world hold its breath. In 2018, a pristine 1995 D Washington quarter, graded MS67 by PCGS, sold at a heritage auction sale for $720. This coin, while valuable, is still a far cry from the $700,000 mark. That value is reserved for the rarest of the rare, the coins with errors so profound they are almost mythical. The extreme off-center strikes, the wrong planchet errors, the double denominations, the coins that defy the very process that created them. These are the coins that turn pocket change into a new house, a college fund, a retirement plan. They are out there waiting to be discovered. The market for these error coins is not just active. It is on fire. Collectors and investors are paying extraordinary sums for these pieces of minting history. The potential value of a 1995 D quarter with the right error is not just a rumor. It's a reality supported by auction records and a dedicated community of numismatists. The thrill of the hunt, the possibility of finding a $700,000 treasure in your own pocket change, is a powerful draw. And you have the knowledge now to be part of that hunt. You stand at a crossroads. You can continue to be a spender, blind to the potential fortune in your hands, or you can become a collector, a seeker of hidden wealth. The choice is yours. So here is your call to action. Go back to that jar of coins. Look again at every 1995 D quarter you can find. Examine it closely for any off-center strike, any doubling, any anomaly. Do not spend another 1995 D quarter until you have scrutinized it under a good light and, ideally, a magnifying glass. You are not just looking at a coin. You are looking at a potential life-changing event. If you enjoyed this journey into the world of ultra-rare coins and want to continue this treasure hunt, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. We have so much more to uncover. In our next video, we'll be exploring another hidden gem of American currency, a coin so rare and so valuable that it might just make the 1995 D quarter look like pocket change. The 1998 P Mint Mark Washington quarter dollar. You have seen it 1,000 times. You have held it in your palm, dismissed it as pocket change, and spent it without a second thought. But what if I told you that one specific version of this coin, hiding in plain sight, has the power to transform your financial future? What if the quarter you are about to drop into a vending machine could actually be worth $690,000? Today, we are going to dive deep into the shadows of American numismatics to uncover the secrets of the 1998 P Washington quarter, a coin that represents the end of an era and the beginning of a potential fortune. By the end of this video, you will never look at your pocket change the same way again. Let us begin with a simple question that separates the wealthy from the average. When you receive change, do you see 25 cents? Or do you see opportunity? The 1998 P Washington quarter is the final chapter of a legendary series that began in 1932. A 66-year run of the classic heraldic eagle design that defined American coinage for generations. In 1999, everything changed. The United States Mint launched the 50-state quarters program, and the classic Washington quarter as the world knew it was retired forever. That makes 1998 a transitional year, a bridge between two very different eras of American numismatics, and transitional years are precisely where the rarest treasures are found. The Philadelphia Mint struck an astonishing 896,268,000 of these quarters in 1998. Nearly 900 million coins. And yet, within that immense sea of metal, there exists a ghost. A coin so rare, so profoundly unique, that it has become the holy grail for collectors worldwide. Let me ask you something. Right now, I want you to pause this video and go check your change jar. Go ahead, I will wait. Is there a 1998 quarter sitting in there right now? Because if there is, you are holding a piece of history that could be worth a life-changing sum of money. To understand why this coin is so special, we must first understand the art and science of minting errors. The United States Mint is a marvel of precision engineering, but even the most sophisticated machinery is not immune to failure. When a coin is struck, it is supposed to be a flawless process, but sometimes the universe intervenes. The 1998 P Washington quarter is infamous for a specific category of errors that make it one of the most sought-after coins in modern numismatics. One of the most dramatic errors is the double die obverse, or DDO. This occurs during the die-making process when the hub, the master stamp used to create working dies, impresses the design onto a die more than once with a slight misalignment. The result is a coin where design elements on the front appear visibly doubled, almost like a ghost image hovering over the original lettering. Collectors are obsessed with this error because it is dramatic, easy to see, and incredibly well documented across the Washington quarter series. A strong 1998 PDDO example has sold for an impressive $1,525. But that is just the beginning. Even moderate examples in circulated condition can bring in $50 to $300, depending on how clear the doubling appears and the coin's overall grade. To spot this error, grab a magnifying glass or a 10-power loupe and examine the obverse of the coin closely. The most reliable spots to check are the word Liberty near Washington's hair, the motto In God We Trust, and the date 1998 itself. Look for a shadow or secondary outline running parallel to the main letters or numbers, not a smear or blur, but a distinct, separated second image. Be careful not to confuse machine doubling, which is a flat, shelf-like smear, with a true DDO, which is a raised, separated double image that appears three-dimensional when viewed under magnification. If you see that ghostly doubling, you are not looking at a damaged coin, you are looking at a payday. But the DDO is just one piece of the puzzle. There is another error that is even more dramatic and potentially more valuable. The off-center strike. This happens when the planchet, the blank coin disc, shifts out of position before being struck by the dies. Instead of a perfectly centered design, part of the coin is blank while the design is pushed to one side. This error occurs when the coin feeder mechanism fails to place the planchet squarely between the dies, a mechanical hiccup that slips past quality control. The further off-center the strike, the rarer and more valuable the coin tends to be. Off-center 1998 quarters are worth $20 to $150 for minor shifts of 10 to 20%, but dramatic strikes of 40 to 50% or more, especially those still showing the full date, can command $100 to $400. Hold the coin flat and look straight down at it. A genuine off-center strike will have a crescent-shaped blank area on one side with no design at all. The most valuable examples show at least 20% off-center displacement while still having the date clearly visible. Avoid confusing this with a mishandled or damaged coin. Post-mint damage is irregular and shows signs of force, while a true off-center strike will have a normal, smooth rim on the blank side. Then there is the broad strike error, a phenomenon that occurs when the retaining collar, the ring that holds the planchet in place during striking, is absent or fails. Without this collar, the metal spreads outward freely when the dies slam together, resulting in a coin that is noticeably wider and thinner than a standard quarter. This error is particularly exciting because it produces a coin that looks almost alien, a distorted version of the familiar Washington quarter that commands serious attention from collectors. And let us not forget the wrong planchet errors, where a quarter is struck on a planchet intended for a different denomination. A 1998p Washington quarter struck on a nickel planchet, for example, is smaller in diameter and missing its clad layers, making it an incredibly rare and valuable find. These coins are the ultimate prize for error collectors, and they can fetch thousands of dollars at auction. Now, let us talk about the error that truly separates the 1998p Washington quarter from all others, the error that has driven the market into a frenzy and pushed values into the stratosphere. I am talking about the double struck and stretch strike errors. Imagine this. A planchet is struck once and fails to eject properly. Before the second striking, a blank planchet is fed into the press and overlaps about 80% of the obverse. During the second striking, the reverse receives another 10% off-center impression that effaces all but about 10% of the first impression. The obverse, on the other hand, does not come into contact with the hammer die again. Instead, the overlapping planchet presses into about 80% of the obverse, with the result that the design elements become greatly elongated. This is what experts call a stretch strike, a coin that has been physically stretched and distorted by the sheer force of the minting process. The result is a coin that looks like it has been through a war, a battle-scarred survivor of the minting floor that should never have existed. And yet, it does exist, and it is one of the rarest and most valuable error coins in modern American numismatics. A double-struck 1998 quarter with a stretch strike, graded MS64 by NGC, is a piece that collectors would literally fight over. The auction records for these errors are staggering, with some examples selling for thousands of dollars, and the most extreme cases, the ones that combine multiple errors in a single coin, have been valued at up to $690,000. But here is the thing. The 1998p Washington quarter is not just about errors. It is about history. It is about the end of an era. For over 65 years, the iconic John Flanagan design of George Washington on the obverse and a bald eagle on the reverse had remained largely unchanged. But the dawn of the new millennium brought sweeping changes to America's quarter dollar. The 1998 quarter is the final year of the classic design before the state quarter series began in 1999. That makes it a transitional coin, a piece of American history that bridges two very different eras of coinage. Collectors love transitional coins because they represent a moment in time, a snapshot of a nation on the cusp of change. And when you combine that historical significance with the rarity of a mint error, you have a recipe for astronomical value. Let us talk numbers. Most circulated 1998 P quarters are worth exactly their face value, 25 cents. Even typical uncirculated specimens graded MS65 by PCGS or NGC rarely sell for more than $20. But the very finest examples, graded MS67 or higher, can garner substantial premiums. The record auction price for a standard 1998 P quarter is $1,380 for a PCGS MS68. That is impressive for a coin that was minted in the hundreds of millions, but it is nothing compared to what error coins can fetch. A 1998 P quarter with a missing clad layer was listed on eBay for $550. A strong DDO example sold for $1,525. A triple-struck 1998 P Washington quarter, with the second and third strikes 40% off-center, sold for $2,040. And a 1998 P quarter with a quadruple-struck error, graded MS64 by NGC, is valued at even higher sums. These are not just coins, they are investment-grade assets that have appreciated significantly in value over the past decade. The market for error coins is hotter than it has ever been. With the rise of online auction platforms and the increasing accessibility of professional grading services, collectors from all over the world are hunting for these treasures. The demand for 1998 P Washington quarter errors has skyrocketed, and prices have followed suit. A coin that was worth a few $100s a decade ago can now sell for thousands. And the rarest of the rare, the coins that combine multiple errors in a single piece, have been valued at $690,000. That is not a typo. $690,000 for a coin that you could find in your pocket change today. The potential for profit is enormous, but you have to know what you are looking for. So here is my challenge to you. The next time you receive change, do not just shove it in your pocket and forget about it. Take a moment to look at the coins in your hand. Examine them closely. Look for the ghostly doubling of the DDO, the crescent-shaped blank area of the off-center strike, the distorted edges of the broad strike, the elongated design of the stretch strike. You might be holding a coin that could change your life. The 1998 P Washington quarter is out there, waiting to be discovered. It is hiding in jars, in drawers, in coin rolls, and in the pockets of unsuspecting people who have no idea what they are carrying. Will you be the one to find it? Will you be the one to turn 25 cents into $690,000? The opportunity is real, and it is happening right now.